All right, today we are going to try to talk in is the new theory. This new theory we are called the Gravitphoton healing. So the Gravitphoton is on the fifth dimension. So we need this science studying, but still nobody can prove the fifth dimension. But we already use the theory for the healing. So before we don't know the name, so we just call it a tornado. Or we have called a horseshoe, but all the same thing because that is related with the gravity. So the first one is the studying is Christina. So we are using this is a 4 tornado, or we call the anti-gravity. So you have the breast cancer to the bone,
Yes.
to the liver, and to the brain.
Yes.
How long you have it?
So breast cancer started in 2014, and I had chemo and radiation, and then I was good for 7 years, and it came back in 2021.
But that's 3 years ago.
Yes.
So that's a very terminal.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember when you come, all the swollen, all the number, the CA, all the number jump up. But today, your second time with the good report from the doctor.
Yes. So I haven't had chemo, and the last time I had chemo was January 25th, and I wanted to just give my body a break. And ever since then, my number's been dropping, and ever since I've been using the horseshoe, the Gravitphoton, my number's been dropping.
So you beginning on the February 23rd.
Yes.
2023. So because the way we just say put this machine in the front to the breast area.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. So you sitting here is a 2 hour.
Yes.
Then since there the pain is gone, today is a 2 week, 14 days.
Yes.
The pain still not coming back. And plus, because we have the science, then you can see the CEA number significant drop. The first time it dropped down, I know one is 4,000 to 602.
Yes.
And now this week is 588.
500.
Yeah. But they keep dropping, but another number much more dropping. So of course your doctor said you need the chemo. So this is not the science. Because you already have a good result, why we change the harmful way? So that's their business. We are not talking. Another thing is you come here 1 month. So on the first day you came here, on the second day we do for the weight loss. So the first day you lost 5 or 5.5 inches.
Yes.
So in one class, how can you lose 5 inches? The second week, you lost 3 more inches. That is 8 inches. So all the people understand this. They say, oh, come on. How can you 1 hour lost 5 inches? Because you are not the only one. But now you are the highest one is 2 weeks, 7 days, you lost 8 inches. And today you walking in another ½ inch, 8.5 inch. So the people thinking, oh my God, your guy is talking the story or what? That is against the theory of the science. So on the science, one is the cancer. How can the cancer, the pain is gone and the number from the doctor, significant big drop. So they kind of drop is almost 70 to 80% drop. So in our theory is that you not die on the 4,000, the CA, how can you die on the 588? So you have no exercise, no diet, no supplement. How can you lose 8 inches?
I kept it off too, and my friends see it as well. My friends and my family see a change in my waistline.
In fact, your mother is a doctor, your father is a cancer researcher, so all the science background, we cannot make the story. So what do you think, sir?
I think there's a lot of questions, but it's amazing.
Okay, the number one question is how they work.
Well, if you can explain to us how it works, that would be helpful.
And because we are the science, we must have a science favorite, not the religion or the Chinese medicine or the alternative medicine. So we must know what we talking the tumor first. So the people have a tumor. Tumor itself, number one is in 1931 in the Otto-Warburg's theory. The tumor, the cell, is a lack of oxygen, no oxygen. Then lately, then they found out is no bioelectricity. That is Dr. Michael Levin with Tufts Medical School on the lab. They got the Levin lab that you can see it. So the cell need the bioelectricity. So this means your cancer cell from the normal cell change to the cancer cell, the cancer cells. So one is a lack of oxygen. Two is the bioelectricity. And three, so what color is the cancer cell? It's a dark color. The one should be like the blood, if they carry the oxygen, is a pink or red. But this means they do not have the photon either. If you have a photon, then you will show on the photon what is going on. So we just say, okay, in the tumor itself, in Chinese translate, is a rock. So this means the tumor itself is on a high density. So the high density is, if they have a high density, this means they relate with the gravity. So in the space, then when the spaceman come back, then they lost the boat because there's no gravity in the space. So another thing, when they already do the study, is send the tumor to the space. The tumor disappears. I remember you are one of them working with the SpaceX. So 4 people to the space, 1 woman have a breast cancer. You remember?
I do.
So, but what is the result? Still no report come out yet. But that's what they believe in the space, then the tumor will disappear. So we believe in the space, the tumor disappear. But how can you send everybody to the moon to healing cancer on the trip, on the way? They go, maybe they die already. I don't know. So can you on the earth make it the kind of gravity for healing? So that is why that's our machine. So our machine is that you can see that is at a high speed. So you can go to check. They call the anti-gravity wheel. So the anti-gravity wheel, you can see when the movement on the machine, then the object will lose the gravity. So the kind of loss of gravity, we call the anti-gravity. So anti-gravity, another name is called the Gravitphoton. So I want everybody, you don't need to argue. Go to the Google, go to Wikipedia to check what is meant by gravity photon. So they call the gravitphoton, but how can you put the gravitphoton go into the tumor? So that's a technical problem. So the technical, if you use on Newton's classical physics, no way, difficult. But if we use the quantum theory on the observation effect because the gravity is a particle and wave. They call it duality. So if the gravity is a particle, particle and particle can entangle. So the tumor inside the tumor is a graviton. So they call the graviton is a high density. But mine is an anti-graviton. So the anti-graviton, of course, another name is called the gravity photon. So if the gravity photon and the tumor's graviton, when they entangle, they will cancel each other. So this means the tumor will go back to soft or disappear. So we have one very simple example. The example is the water is the CO2. So the CO2, but if the molecule different of the movement, they will have a different form of the water. Ice cream is a water, it's a form. But the ice is the high density. The ice is like a rock because the molecule is inactive. So when you make the
Molecule
molecule a little bit more active, that is a liquid. If you make it more active, what they call
steam.
steam. The steam have a lot of power. We use the steam to make the train.
Yeah, right.
So when I was a kid in China, the bus still use a steam. So the steam can make the train move. So the steam will go on, but they still in the universe because the mass never disappear, but it's a different form. So your tumor, the same thing, you make it hard like a rock, then go to soft. Then the soft like a steam, or we call the stimulus. Then the steam, they go on from the body. Did that make sense?
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a science, but only the when the people argue, doubt, deny, against, because their mind still stay in Newton's classical theory, physical theory. So if you are on Einstein's quantum theory, then they can entangle. So like the electricity, the electricity, the positive and negative, when they meet to each other, then they release the energy. They cancel each other. Then no more. So your battery cannot let them touch. The positive and the negative cannot be, they call the short circuit. All the energy will go on the battery will burn. So we want to burn out the tumor. So we must make it two the graviton. One is graviton, one is anti-graviton. They short circuit with each other. Then the steam will go on. So how you say, how about on the weight loss? The weight loss, if you can charge the cell go into to the gravity, the cell can be more firm. So the cell more firm, this means we charge the graviton into to the cell. So you charge the graviton to the cell, the more firm, but the mass is no change. So this morning, you are the same weight than months ago. You lost 8 inches, but the weight still the same. So this means our theory is wrong. So that is we are the first one. So also we on the Wednesday we do more people on the tumor study. So it's about 6-7 people. We made the video. So all the kind of video is in front of everybody. You cannot hide the people or hire the pay actor. No pay actor in here. So until the people come to take a look. If you are a scientist, if you have the spirit to look in something new, why not come in here to observe? So talking to the people, they the science. So don't use the name of the science. Then you hide on the corner, keep screaming, or they are not science. So this is loss of the spirit of science. So what do you think, sir?
I think with the science, it's easy to understand. And I think that with the science and the practical examples, it comes together so that everyone can understand.
Because in that kind of science, we are explaining on the now our science is much more difficult for the people to accept it because we already go into the fifth dimension. So the fifth dimension, check on the internet about the Gravitphoton. See what they say. And also the Gravitphoton is the number 5 energy force. So then we know in the universe there are 4 forces. Now that is the 5th force on the Wikipedia. So that we have electromagnetic force, gravity force, weak nuclear power, and strong nuclear power. Now they have another force, the 5th is the Gravitphoton. So science. So if you are a guy do not have that kind of science knowledge, why you not go to the Wikipedia? Or you can go to Google to find the answer, not standing there to deny it. Did that make sense?
Perfect sense.
Enough?
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. Don't need to argue. Go to the Wikipedia.